Hello everyone and welcome to our monthly webinar. Just before we kick off, if there's any sound issues, you just pop a comment in and let us know if you're having any difficulties. As well as that, if you have any questions along the way, just drop it into the question box and we will come to them at the end. So what we're going to cover this month is IMGS FME Playground. My name is Ciara Betty and I'm an FME Certified Professional Trainer here at IMGS. We are the Gold Partner Resellers for Safe Software in Ireland, and joining me is Lauren Lucas, our FME expert. And what we're going to be doing this week is a little bit different. We're going to be showing you our FME Cloud account and making it available to you as the general public for your own use. So just Lauren's here sitting beside me, so let her say hello.
Hello everybody.
So if you have any questions about myself and Lauren, we can stop at the end and we can discuss them, and Lauren's going to be monitoring those questions coming in. So the webinar itself, it's a little bit less technical than what we usually present on, and it's more to give you an overview of FME Server and Cloud and give you guys the chance to play around with some workspaces that we've developed on our Cloud account. So even though I'm saying FME Cloud, it gives you the exact same functionality as FME Server, but this is just based up in the cloud. So to run through the agenda for today, we have Desktop, Server and Cloud Overview, just to give you a bit of content on the product suite, existing FME capabilities, how to access the IMGS FME Playground, what our opening hours are, and then we're going to run through a demo. So some workspaces, both myself and Lauren are going to show you some of the existing workspaces that we've uploaded for you. And then the end, of course, is just our wrap-up and questions. So to start off, just with our FME overview, most of you are more than familiar with FME itself. So it's a product known for data translations and transformations, a way really to integrate multiple data sources, allowing us to move from one format to the other as we require. Really, I think it's probably about 400 reader and writer formats are supported at this point, and there's also over 500 transformation tools in the latest release. So everything from filters, joiners, stylers. So the functionality available to you in desktop is massive, and I think most people are quite familiar with what FME Desktop can do. On server, this is the network data translation and transformation application. So this is web-based. It allows you as desktop users to share translation resources through a repository mechanism, and this is what I'm going to show you today. You can upload workspaces, which is what we have done. And that means we are giving you access to workspaces that myself and Lauren or other members of our staff have created. And it allows you guys to run them on demand through our FME Cloud account. So you mightn't have the knowledge that of some of the most latest transformers, but we'll be putting together workspaces that may use them, and then it gives you the chance to play around with some of the capabilities of FME that you may not have thought about, and you can get to benefit from some of the solutions that we have developed. So you can upload your own data using our workspaces through our cloud account. I really think, and including myself in this, is so often both myself and Lauren turn around and say to each other that I didn't know FME could do that, and I think that comes down to the fact that there's so many possibilities in terms of formats, inputs, outputs, transformation tools. So it's nice to be able for us to upload these workspaces that you can get use of, because we do get a little bit of time each week to play around with the new functionalities that are available in the latest releases. So really, I think we have a lot of expertise around the different formats that FME provides. That ranges from everything from rasters, CAD data. Lauren is our expert here for BIM, if you have any interest in that. And she also works a lot with LiDAR and point clouds. We have a lot of knowledge around spatial databases, and also then just the standard GIS formats and non-spatial data sets. So there really is a wide range of formats, and if you haven't used some of them, you might want to come onto our cloud and see some of the different transformations that you can do.
Yeah, I think it's a really great opportunity for people to branch out into different formats they wouldn't normally.
Exactly, because some projects you will only ever use one format, and others, you know, you might get a requirement from a customer or somebody else that you work with, and they might be asking you a particular question, and you may never have used that format. So I think it's depending on what project you're working on, you're going to come across different formats and different transformation tools. So I think it's nice if you have a repository like ours on the cloud that you can log in and just see some of the different capabilities that you might not use on a daily basis. So along the bottom you can see here we've got convert, transform, reproject, we've got analytics, reporting, PDF, 3D, point cloud and so on. So there's so different transformation tools available to you, and that's what we're going to be discussing in the next section. So our logon details, you can see along the bottom this URL here, the IMGS 2016-imgs.fmecloud.com. Now we will be making this available to you and we'll be tweeting it out and we can send it to you by email, but that's the URL that will allow you access to our FME Cloud, which is essentially FME server in the cloud. So that's what you need to take note of. Once you put that into your browser, you're going to get a logon detail. So it's going to be a username and password. And you're going to need to contact us for your username and password access. If you just drop us an email at support@imgs.ie, if you have mine or Lauren's email directly, just drop us a line and we will send back your password and your access details. So it's really as easy as that. Just notify us that you want to log on and we will send you on the logon details. This is going to be available Monday to Friday, so 9:30 to 12:30. It'll be freely available. You can log in at any of those times and you can access the workspaces that we've got up there and have a little play around with them yourselves. If you need to access it outside of those hours, that's fine. Just contact us again at support@imgs.ie and we can make FME Cloud available to you outside of those hours. Particularly maybe if you need to demo, you want to show somebody else what FME server looks like without having to do an install yourself. Maybe if you wanted to show it to somebody during a meeting, you can ask us to turn it on later in the afternoon if that's your requirement.
Yeah, I think that's a really good use of it because I know like it can be quite cumbersome to do a full installation of FME server. So if you're just looking to demonstrate that functionality, that's a really good use of this.
Absolutely, Lauren. I think that's a good point. If you want to see FME server and you don't want the hassle of installing everything locally and all the effort that would be required to install, you can just log on to our cloud just to give yourselves an idea without having to make that commitment to finding the space, installing something. And also really FME Cloud is the latest version of FME server, so it's always up to date. So anyone who is on FME server and doesn't want to have to continually update, and you just want to check out what the latest functionality is, so then you can make a judgment whether or not it's worth you doing an update. You can just log on to cloud, see what the new functionality is and make that decision then. So that's the kind of thing I like about cloud, that it is constantly up to date. You've got all the latest functionality and you don't need to do any of that updating and monitoring yourself. So just a quick run through before we do the demo. Some of the workspaces that we've got up there. We've got data translation and reprojection. Always of interest to the FME users because it's kind of the core functionality of FME desktop, translating data from one format to the other, and particularly reprojection. We always have issues with people needing to reproject data in Ireland between ITM and Irish Grid and lat long. So this workspace, it is within our cloud and you can log in and you can upload your own data and reproject it to any other format you wish and choose your destination system. So it's a nice idea for a workspace in that you don't need to create multiple workspaces and output. You can just have one workspace that accepts many data inputs and many data outputs. So it's a nice idea and I think it's particularly useful for FMEers. The next we're going to cover is reporting and analytics. There's so many uses really in FME for analytics, and there's a lot of new content, and both Lauren and I have kind of presented over the last 3 or 4 months since the release of the HTML report generator and all the different reports you can create. So we've got kind of spatial reports with the HTML report generator. So if you haven't had a chance to play around with that, it might be worth coming on and looking at some of the reports we have already created, and then our standard non-spatial Excel templates. So there's a couple of reporting options up there you can run and look at. And then as well as PDF, KML output, we still get a lot of requests topics in IMGS surrounding PDF, and I think because it's so diverse and everybody has access to it, the PDF is always kind of important output. So we've created some 2D PDF and 3D PDF output workspaces that you can look at as well. And then finally, not to forget rasters and point clouds. There's a couple of workspaces around contours, raster tiling, and DEMs. So if I just go through straight to the demo, you'll see if we log out, just to see what you will get. Once you put that URL in here up the top, this is what you're going to see, this log on page. So you've got your IMGS FME, that is your login, and if you contact us for the password, we will send that directly to you. So this is what you get then. This is the 2016.1 homepage for FME Server. This has tailored down the functionalities. So you really, all you can do is run a workspace. The admin menu gives you a lot more functionality to do with notifications, scheduling, and so on. But right now, what we've given you access to is run workspaces we've developed and upload it to FME Server for you. So you really don't need any expertise whatsoever to run this. You see, it's such a user-friendly homepage. All you need to do is hit Run a Workspace. Down the bottom here, you've got your last published workspaces. That's for me as the FME author. I would have published workspaces and they'd be available here. Down the bottom here is the last run workspaces, and if you have any favorites, they'll be listed over on the left-hand side there. So once you hit Run a Workspace, you'll see you're brought to a repository. There's only one repository available to you, and that's the Playground. So you don't really need to make any decision here. It automatically jumps to it. And this is where you choose the workspace option then. So all the workspaces I was just briefly discussing there, they're all listed here, and they've got a bit of an explanation to them. So every time you click one, it'll give you the details. So if I maybe start with that one, I was talking about the format translator and reprojector. So you'll see you've got your details. Anyone can translate data from and to the FME supported file formats. FME's generic reader can guess at the format extension, and we use FME Server's data download service to return the output to you. So for you guys, it's a case of uploading your source data, or you can just use the sample that is provided to you there. But to upload, if you just drop over here and you select your upload file, you can pick a particular file to upload, go in and upload particular content. So in this case, it's just a boundary map of Ireland is our sample. So that's what I've uploaded. You can see it's highlighted here. Below, we've got our source format. So that's just specifying, you can have a guess at the file extension. So FME can make a best guess at the file extension as to what the source format is, or you can specify it yourself. So the tab file is map info, specifying a destination file name. So that's just the output data. I'm going to give it a set name. So just call it Kira's data. Then this is your format. So this is your data translation. So I have the tab file, and then I can output it to, and there's various options here. If you don't see a data format, destination format available that you want to use, just contact us and we'll add it to the list. So we've kind of selected some of the most often used and requested, but obviously there's a lot more available here than what's in this list. So we can add anything you wish to that. So if I select the shape, and here's your reprojection part. So if you want to reproject that data, you can see Ireland_IG, that stands for Irish grid. So I know that's my Irish grid, and I might want to reproject it to a different format like your ITM. So there's just 3 output formats or reprojections available there. So you pick one and then just enter some details. So if I just pop in my name there and my email address, that then means I can run my workspace. So it doesn't take long. Oh, what have I done wrong there? I don't think I uploaded my source right, which would immediately give me problems. So I just pop back in here and C drive and go back to my data. just add all of these in here. You can see my uploads just completing. Let me pick one of these on my tab and say OK again. And hit run. So that's running there. And you can see it's successful. So if I select the link, that's a download link, and that's going to provide me my data directly from FME server. So you can see I've uploaded, then I should have reprojected, and we get my output data. So I'll need to just copy these out of my zip folder. And if I just open that with my inspector, you can see I have here my output data in my ITM. You can see down here, let me just pull that across so you can see there we go. So that was Irish Grid, and now we've reprojected it to ITM, and it's now a shapefile where it was a tab file. So it's one workspace that allows you to upload any data you want and reproject it to multiple formats. So I do think that that's a useful one that even you might want to share with other users in your organization and allow them to translate their own data quite easily. So that's the first one. If we then look at some of the reporting, so analytics, we've got the Fix Your Street, there's geodirectory reports in here, we've validation reports, alerting, so there is quite a lot. So if I run the Fix Your Street, you can see if you upload, and what I have here is a CSV of some Fix Your Street report data. Now this is just creating a report about different alerts, so really it can be anything. It doesn't have to be Fix Your Street data. It could be calls that you'd received in on a particular day, and you want to report on how many calls were received, or how many people have used a particular service, or various different things within your organization. So it's really around reporting. So if I upload the CSV for this data set, and then I've got things like choose my year, so you can specify a particular year. You can specify your council, so if I just put in maybe Cork County, that's my name and email address, and I've just uploaded a logo that's going to go on my report. So you can see for me, I'm just choosing some information. I hit run.
You've got some instruction on each workspace as
to
what you need.
You can see along the top here. Yeah, there's further information that you may need on that detail. I don't know why that's not. Sorry, I might need to just refresh that page. It's not picking up my input. Oh, I'm in the wrong login. Sorry, I have a separate login for me just because that Fix Your Street report, I don't have sample data uploaded there for it. You need to upload your own, because I can't really make that freely available to everyone. But if I run from my own login, I have the data already uploaded. So if I run that again.
It's a really great example of what you can do though with the recording skills in FME.
Yeah.
That's something that a lot of people be interested in, because they're not necessarily management level, etc., aren't necessarily looking for anything more than a PDF that's got some results on it.
Yeah, like I think FME has come a good bit forward with the reporting capabilities in the last year or so. So I think you'll see, and I've shown it to a lot of people, the output capabilities, they're quite good when it comes to reporting and analytics. So if you've got the Fix Your Street output, so this is the idea that I was trying to show you. The Fix Your Street report, I had chose 2014. So what's happening here is it's going back to your data, it's querying it for the particular year you suggested, as well as the particular council. So it was Cork County. And as we scroll down, it's gone and it's categorized each of the output data sets. So you've got leaks and drainage is one, and it's got the list. This is the interactive map. If you haven't seen it before, you can zoom in and out and see where this information was reported, click on it and get the further detail. You can have your tables with the details displayed underneath the map. So you can see here we're getting counts, 152 road defects, and that might be something you want to then send on to your road department or whoever is looking after the particular reports that are coming in. And if I go down to the very bottom, FME has now become very good at doing this kind of analytics and overviews, pie charts, bar charts, and this will give you a good idea. There's a total count of 152 road defects for that particular year. And then if we scroll down, you can get the breakdown. So within that data set, nearly 70% of the users of Fix My Street have reported road defects. So you can see a lot of people were using that particular service for road and path defects and to notify the council for those. So that's just one example really of a report using the HTML report generator. So if you have your own data set for Fix My Street, a CSV file, you can upload it. If you need us to make any edits to that workspace, we can do so. Just contact us at support@imgs.ie. So that's one good example for reporting. The other one that's good to show is just your geometry validation report, and that's in Excel. If you don't use the reporting services in Excel, I think templates, and it might be something that Lauren and I might do a webinar on later on in the year. They can be very useful if you have a particular template that you want to output to, and this is what I am using for the geometry validation tool. So you can use the geometry validation report, upload down here your data file, insert an ID column, and what this means is you're just going to specify within your data set which value is the ID. So if it was called identifier, you type in @value identifier or @value column A. My ID within the bad data shapefile is called ID. So I'm just letting FME server know for my report the ID column. And then I just input my name and address. So it's really easy. This is just going to perform geometry validation. The whole list of validation tests are here, and you can run the workspace. And it's done the same to me again. I don't know, I need to get out of that one, sorry. I have two different logons, so it's obviously confusing myself here. The geometry validation report, let's go back down. So the same idea, bad data, and then my name and log on. So it runs, and this would be maybe a workspace that you'd use for anybody who provides data to you, and particularly if it's external data and you want to validate it before you accept it, you could log on here, perform the validation, and then you're going to get something like this. So it's using a template, and then it's just going to give you here, you see a total count of errors. So there was 41. This is where the ID column came in, so we can specify which is our ID field, and the important bit then is why it failed, the validation messages to do with self-intersecting, degenerate, corrupt geometry, fails, OGC valid, and so on. So it's nice to be able to provide somebody back a templated Excel report. So if you ever have any requirements to do with templates, you can contact us. So that's kind of the reporting side. There's other options in there that you can use whenever you wish, but I think some other options might be good ones to show are the PDF output. So if I go back to my repository, close down one of these so there's not two open. Go back to our playground, and you see this one here, PDF Creator. So if you ever wanted to create a PDF output, you might want to take a look at this PDF Creator Workspace. So you've got your description there, and what it's going to do is input any of your data types, so vector or raster, and produce a PDF of your data set. So it can be quite handy. We've given you the option to either style it or not. So if I was to choose to style it, upload my source file. It's logged me out. No, I'm not having much luck with my cloud account today. We go back in. So if I choose to style it, I'm going to input my data. I am going to set a particular logo. So on my PDF you can see my logo. I can sit or text my details. So a title on the map, I can input whatever I wish, and then if I just put in my contact details there and hit run. So this is nice, particularly if you have people requesting to you to create maps constantly for them. It might be an idea to give them access to a workspace like this where they can put that in themselves, or if they have data sets and they don't have viewers, they can upload the data to our cloud and get access and generate a map immediately from that. So that just downloads, and I open up my sample PDF, and you can see immediately, because I selected it to be styled, it's got the borders, it has the logo I input, my title along the top, the date it was created, and who produced it. Whereas if I selected it not to be styled, I'd just have a PDF with the TIFF in the middle. So you wouldn't have any of the extra detail. So that's the PDF styler. Other good ones to just show you, let's have a scroll down here. We've got maybe the raster tiler or the contour generator. We'll go with the raster tiler because we haven't done too much with rasters. So this really takes your ECW rasters. If you've got really large rasters coming in and you want to split them out, this workspace does that really easily. You just upload your content and you say how many tiles you want to split it into, both vertical and horizontal. So you might say you want 3 horizontal tiles, 2 vertical, and then it's just going to perform a tiling of that particular data set for you. So I think it's really, really easy way to make some of these ECWs a bit more manageable. Save. Might take a minute for that to download. I think I actually have one maybe on my workspace here.
Yeah, dealing with those rasters is definitely a good use of that playground. Maybe that's something I can do next one, to put up a mosaicer.
Oh yes, that's a very good idea. Yeah, Lauren I think was recently doing something on the exact opposite of that, which is stitching everything back together. So if you have a need for mosaicing, we might do that. We'll stick up a workspace that's going to stitch everything back together for you nicely, so you can do both within our playground then. So you can see, sorry, just bring that across. What I input was 1 tile and what I got out was 6. So it's just done the cutting for me and done the maths and created them nice correct 6 tiles, so 3 across and 2 down. So the tiler is another one that you might want to take a look at and to do with rasters. So there really is a lot of different things in here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but the 3D buildings, so generating 3D output, the contour generator might be a good one to use for your LiDAR data. A lot of people actually ask me about contours and how they can create them in FME, so that workspace will do that for you, as well as the one I quite like, might be worth looking at, is the Irish Geo Coder. So if you have your non-spatial address records, so you don't have an X and a Y, but you have an address, you can input each of your columns here, define which column of your, it could be an Excel or a CSV file, refers to the address, the town, the county, your area code if you have it, and the country, which would be Ireland. So if you input that data, what you're going to get out is your, and I might as well run it just as the last one here, Kira, Betty. That's my upload file. It's just 10 addresses in a CSV with no X or Y. But when I run, the Geo Coder is going to get the XY location of those addresses. And you'll see, I just put them out here. Where did that go to? There we go. If we just open them, then it comes out as KML. Let me just let that zoom in. And yes, there, yeah. So it's nice, like you mightn't have the requirement frequently, but if somebody gives you a list of addresses and there's no way you're going to go and find the XY for each one of these, the Geo Coder is going to do that for you. And then you've got your output data, and when you click on it, That's the address that was given in the CSV. So there was address line 1 to a town, a county. It didn't have a postal code, it was just County Cork. But the lat and the long was created within the Geo Coder in FME, and then you've got your output data. So it's a nice little one to play around with as well if you ever have the requirement to perform some Geo Coding.
That's great though, because even if you have a list of, I know like say some councils keep a list of government buildings, so if you just have a list of addresses,
very good,
just
yeah.
Load that straight in
and that's job's done, yeah.
Brilliant.
So I've gone through about half of them there. There's a good few ideas, and if I back up our last slide, just to say, if you have any questions, obviously contact us. We will, if you've logged on, I will make sure to forward anyone who's on the webinar on the contact details when we go live. It should be within the next week or so in September, so just in time for back to school. You also can really, I think, maybe come back to us monthly. We do intend to upload new workspaces monthly, particularly around new releases. If you have any particular workflows yourselves that you need information on, you might want to ask us, do we have a workspace that completes a particular functionality? And if we do, just request that we upload it onto the cloud account, and then that allows you to play around with it during your own time. So I really think to keep in touch with us on the FME Cloud, and log back in whenever you have time just to check what else we have up there. So I'm just going to check if there are any questions that have come in.
There's a couple there. So the first question in is, can you give me the, so the logon details, they're looking, yes, okay, so if you just contact, just as we have there, if you contact support at IMGS, and we can give you the logon details, and again, that's between 9:30 and 12:30 Monday to Friday.
Yes, you're right on, yeah.
And then there's, okay, can I download the workspaces?
You can't download the workspaces. Your logon just allows you to run our workspaces, but absolutely, if you have interest in the workspace and you want to query anything, contact us. You know our details, support at imgs.ie, and we're always here to give you any further information that you need. So contact us directly and we can discuss any of those workspaces with you.
Okay, perfect. And I'll just have a quick scroll and double check just my notes. Okay, so there's just one more here. So server in the cloud is the same functionality, just not hosted locally?
That's exactly it, yeah. You don't have your FME server on site. It's hosted in the cloud, but they look identical. And I think that's the key thing. When people see cloud, they think that's a different product. It's not. It's just a different way of providing it to you. And particularly, it'll be useful for us because it means we can really easily share our cloud instance with you instead of our local FME server, which we have on site here. But they're the same product. It's just two different variations.
Yeah, I guess that could be confusing because when you log on to FME Cloud, it does actually say
FME server.
Yeah. Server hosted in the cloud.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Yeah.
That is a good question to have in there. Okay, I think that's all the questions we have. But,
super.
If you have anything else, please don't be afraid to contact us.
Great. Thanks, guys. Just contact us with anything else you need, and we will hopefully see you on next month's webinar.
Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks.